Hi, and welcome to the Frog Pond School of Design, where we like to talk about things that sort of relate to architecture one way or another. Today, I'd like to talk about the Leaning Tower of Pisa. I think I've talked about this before, but everybody knows about the tower and the efforts to keep it from falling over, but I don't know that people really understand just how close we came to losing it. Back in 1990, around in there. First, a little history, and they built the tower over a couple hundred years time period because there were pauses in the construction due to wars breaking out, and these ended up being a good thing, because if they had just kept building from the beginning, it probably wouldn't have lasted very long. What happened was the weight in the time periods allowed it to settle, and they realized what was going on, so they started compensating. So 2 different times they came back and said, oh, we need to start building straight again. And as a result, the tower almost appears to be curved very slightly, but it continued to tilt over time. So the problem became, what are we going to do about it? And they didn't really get there were efforts and studies and that sort of thing, but in 1989, a tower in another Italian city did fall, so they got kind of serious about this one. And in 1990 they started serious efforts. The first thing they did, first you have to understand that the tower probably weighs about 16,000 pounds. And what a lot of people don't understand is there were 2 different concerns about its structural integrity. One, of course, was toppling over. But the other, if you look at the tower and realize what's happening here, as the tower leans, more and more of its weight is concentrated here, rather than being evenly distributed throughout the foundation. Now, those foundation walls are 8 feet thick, but how much weight can they take, and at what point would the stone over on this side fail, crush, and the whole tower come tumbling down? So the first thing they did was around that, the high side, not the low side, the high side, they stacked lead billets to the tune of, I think, 870 tons of lead. They stacked up against the tower as a counterweight, which was somewhat effective. What it really did was gave them time to try some of their other strategies, most of which really weren't very effective. Finally, what did seem to work was they started drilling into the ground, again back on the high side, drilling down into the ground at an angle pretty much under the tower, and sucking out earth that would allow that high side to settle back down and bring the tower back just a little bit. They moved it back about a degree and a half, where they finally felt this would stabilize it and keep things at that point. Some people have said, well, why didn't they straighten it all the way? Well, who's going to come and see the straight Tower of Pisa, right? So, I mean, it's the main tourist attraction for a good area around there in Italy. But they think they have it stabilized, and they're still have the ability to come in there and do more, because they're constantly monitoring it. And they finally feel that they've got a solution that will save the tower, at least for the time being. Thanks for joining us today at the Frog Pond School of Design. I look forward to seeing you hanging around the pond again real soon.